On an ancient mountain, lived a hermit sage. As the end of his life drew near, he summoned his most devoted disciple and whispered to him, "Remember this, young disciple. Never allow a cat to enter your mind." With those words, the sage exhaled his final breath and departed this world. A curious multitude and followers of the sage had gathered to hear his last words. Everyone wondered about the meaning behind this enigmatic warning. The chosen disciple, intrigued, pondered, "Why should I be concerned about a cat in my mind?" Despite his doubts, the sage was bid farewell with due honors. However, the disciple couldn't help but turn over the sage's words in his head. In the monastery, there was also an elderly monk, a silent witness to the sage's life for many years. Though not chosen as a successor due to his advanced age, the elder deeply understood the sage's teachings. Seeing the disciple lost in thought, the elder approached him and asked the reason for his concern. After listening attentively, the disciple shared his unease. The elder smiled wisely and said, "Young disciple, you are unaware of the complete story. Allow me to recount it." The story began when the hermit sage withdrew from society and settled in the mountain. His home was a small hut on the outskirts of a village. He depended on the charity of the villagers to survive, and they admired him for his wisdom. As a sign of respect, they built a modest cabin for him. The sage possessed only 2 tunics for clothing. He soon faced a problem when rats began to gnaw at his clothes. He was in a difficult situation, as he only had 2 tunics and feared they would be torn to pieces. Unable to find a solution, he turned to the villagers for advice. A villager suggested, "Why don't you get a cat? Cats will drive away the rats." The sage considered this, and they eventually gave him a cat. Indeed, the cat kept the rats away from his hut. However, he soon encountered a new challenge: he had to feed and care for the cat. Once again, he turned to the villagers for advice. They proposed, "Since this is a small village, why don't you get a cow? We will provide you with a cow that will provide you with milk and make you more self-sufficient." Convinced by the idea, the sage agreed, and soon he had a cow. However, the cow required grass and daily care. The sage had to beg for food for the cow in the village. The villagers observed this and became concerned. They suggested, "This is not the right path for a sage. We propose that you approach the widow of the village. Her husband has passed away, and she is alone. Surely, she will agree to take care of your cow, and you won't have to beg. Additionally, we will clear a piece of land near your hut for her to cultivate grass and other crops." The sage agreed, and the widow accepted his offer. She cared for the cow and tended to the fields, while the sage assisted her in her tasks. Over time, affection between them grew, and they fell deeply in love. A genuine relationship blossomed between the sage and the widow. One day, the widow became pregnant, and the sage felt overwhelmed. He reflected, "How did this happen? I had left the world behind, and now I am once again entangled in it." Finally, he grasped the meaning behind the sage's words, "Do not allow a cat to enter your mind." Then, the elderly monk proclaimed, "He warned you to remember not to allow your mind to have a cat in your life." In this story, the cat symbolizes the idea of not surrendering too much control to your mind so that it gradually and unwittingly begins to dominate you. If we examine our lives, we will discover that, for amusement, we let our minds engage in actions that we know are unhealthy. We believe we will do it only once and won't repeat it. However, once you grant some freedom to your mind, it starts demanding more from you, and you don't even realize how you become addicted to certain negative habits. Similar to the sage who had renounced the world but ended up having a cat to protect his 2 tunics from rats, he eventually acquired a cow to feed the cat, and to care for the cow, he involved a woman, ultimately falling into a relationship with her, once again becoming the head of a family. Similarly, we know that drug consumption for intoxication is harmful, but still, some people try them just to experience their effects for the first time. However, they later start repeating it again and again, gradually becoming dependent. Another example is junk food, which we know is not good for our health, but we still try it and slowly start consuming it despite the negative consequences it carries. Therefore, never let the cat of giving excessive freedom to your mind enter your life, as once you allow this cat to enter, it will lead you to destruction without you even realizing it. If you liked this reflection, leave us a like or comment. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to continue watching more content like this. Thanks for coming this far.